We're back with another episode of Chat with the Artist on Tales from the Soundcheck podcast. Today we've got the vocalist for the deathcore band from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Ladies and scene daddies, Michael Cobin of Casketmaker.
These guys are heavy as fuck.
Mike, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's up?
Chilling. I'm pumped to have you on, man.
Oh yeah.
I think a few people that I've told that you guys are going to be on. We've had a mutual band from Connecticut, hook this up, and I want to let everybody know Josh Boucher had on a couple episodes ago, hooked all this up. I'm going to have to start paying him if he doesn't stop getting me some people to
Such an
talk
awesome
about
dude.
Yeah, he's such a sick bass player and an awesome
His
guy.
band is so goddamn heavy.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, dude, we're gonna get right into this. I've got a shotgun question for you. We always do this for everybody. I think we've missed once.
We've missed a whole one.
A whole one. Yeah.
Bring it.
Completely left field from music. What's your number one hobby when you're not playing shows, recording, writing, any of that stuff that comes with being in that industry?
Ooh. So I guess I could go two different ways. I'm a barber by trade, so that's like it's a hobby at the same time because like there's so many things to collect and so many different things to learn, and there's a lot of culture behind like the whole barber industry. So that's like, I honestly love what I do. So it's as much of a hobby as a career for me. And then outside of like the work and everything, I'd say we're big hikers, my family and I. And we try to get in the outdoors and get the hell away from everybody as much as we can.
As you should.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have a 5-year-old little girl, and we take her out and do a bunch of hikes. We just went on one actually on Sunday. Went out to Morgantown. Nice little Cooper's Rock hike. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I love hiking.
Yeah. There's nowhere to hike in this godforsaken wasteland of a state. So
California's got to have some good places.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even Connecticut does.
Oh yeah, Connecticut's got some
I guess
ridiculous
I could see that,
deep
yeah.
woods. California's got different aspects. I mean, like if you're talking about the whole state, obviously it's completely different.
It's more like mountain-esque, I'm sure, when you go hiking. Yeah.
I mean, like
deserty, maybe.
I guess, yeah, more deserty and more like the climates change every like 40 miles. So it depends on where you're at. So you can start in like a deserty and then you can get through stuff that's a little bit more forested that, I guess it could resemble New England in certain spots, but yeah, it's the same stuff. It's some areas are just more dead than others, I guess, but, or you can just go hike in the plain desert.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I don't think I'd like that. More of a woodsy guy.
Yeah, the woods are awesome. The woods out here are, if you can get to them up north, are pretty
That's
impressive.
what I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, the redwoods are sick.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the big ones, but I've seen the little guys, but not the big ones. But yeah, anywhere I can get where there's trees, being, obviously being from the Northeast where it's all trees.
Right.
Yeah. I flock to it as much as I can, but more recently haven't been able to get out and hike. So
making time for it's the hardest thing.
Yeah. And it's good that you get the whole family out and doing it, like everybody hanging out and experiencing the
great outdoors.
Yeah, the great outdoors, a different chaos from all the stuff that you deal with when you're, sitting in a venue. Because let's face it, that's chaotic. That
is nonstop chaos.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love the people who think it's like all glorious going on tour, and it's like, no, you hang out at a venue 9 to 10 hours a day. It's a lot of work.
I tell people, have you ever smelled the inside of a band's van?
Oh God, it's ratchet, man.
When they're like, you go on tour, you must see a lot of cool things. Yeah. Planet Fitness. all across the country. They all look the same.
Yep.
Yeah, highways, yeah, the inside of our smelly band van, yeah. Truck stops, yeah, they all look the same.
Yeah, pretty much. So y'all are from Pittsburgh. I'm curious. This is just a personal question. You familiar with a band? They were probably around there, probably 10 years ago. They're called Those Who Fear.
Yeah, I definitely know those who fear. Yeah,
Uh,
Luke. Oh, what's his name? Luke Healy,
yep, Luke and
maybe.
his brother
Yeah.
John.
Yes, there you go. Now they're in Lakewood.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if
yeah,
you've listened to it. Their country rock,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's kind of cool.
It's cool to still see him doing music, but it's funny looking at Lucas is just like, bro. I
Right,
used to
right,
watch.
yeah,
You used to look like you wanted to murder somebody every night.
yeah, right, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
I've seen them a handful of times. That was like when I grew up in upstate New York, but
Okay.
I've lived in Pittsburgh like coming on 15 years now. So when I was like just getting into the music scene down here, they were still heavy kicking around.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. My old band Ark of the Covenant, we were on the same label with them, so we played a
Oh yeah.
lot of shows with those guys.
Do you happen to know the guys in Once Nothing?
Not personally super well, but a long time ago, Ark played a show back when we were still a local
I
band
would
with
say I
them.
thought so. Like the name sounded very familiar. Todd, the guy that owns the barbershop I work at, was the vocalist of Once Nothing.
Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
Dude, the
yeah.
world is so small, man.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
But yeah, yeah. I guess transitioning from that, tell us about the scene in Pittsburgh. What were some bands that you grew up going to see, and like who's like some cool bands you're playing with now from there?
Yeah. So I'd say like when I was first starting, I guess that hasn't really changed, but Signs of the Swarm has always been like a staple for the Pittsburgh scene. Signs of the Swarm, the Breathing Process. Those guys we're all pretty tight with those guys. 156 Silence.
Aren't a few of the dudes from the Breathing Process from Connecticut too?
I think so. I think like the keys player, I believe.
Oh wow,
I
yeah.
think he is
I used
from
to
up
see
that
them.
area.
Yeah, I used to see them all the time. They were a Connecticut band. I remember playing with them and seeing shows with them.
We
like,
played with
forever.
them
Yeah.
at Bobby Allen's.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Dude, in Waterbury. That place, well, I guess Adam told us
Yeah, it
a
burned
couple
down.
weeks that burned down. But yeah,
Oh
that
wow,
place,
no way.
Yeah.
that place was a coke den for young people. It was
It,
crazy.
it,
It
re-
was a
it
horrible
really
spot.
was. Yeah,
Terrible spot, but
Terrible spot. No, that place was it was rough. We'll put it that
Yeah.
way. It was rough.
Waterbury's a rough town, so
yeah, the Breathing Process guys have been around for forever, though. I
Forever.
honestly met them working. I worked at Starbucks back in the day, and I worked with Sarah, the guitarist.
oh okay,
So
cool.
that's kind of like how I got to know those guys a little bit. But yeah, seen them a bunch of times. Yeah, Signs of the Swarm. I got to be in their first music video. That was kind of cool.
That's
Hell
rad.
yeah, I just saw them in
Yeah.
Baltimore not too long ago.
That's rad too.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
Yep. And Dave actually tattoos like across the bridge from my barber shop, so I've been cutting his hair the last couple times, and
Oh yeah,
so yeah, again, small world, but
yeah, for sure.
then I'd say like further back, yeah, so I started in like a metalcore band called Recollections. That was like my very first band, but we honestly played pretty locally the entire time we were a band. We had like one gig out in Amityville that we drove out to play, but
Mhm.
for the most part, yeah, that was just a pretty small gig that yeah, I don't know. Most of the bands have kind of evolved from other bands. Like 156 used to be gray. It's like most of the members changed over time, but that was like the origination of that band too. And just rambling, I guess. But some of the bands nowadays, like I'd say Wind Chimes is up there. They're playing a lot of big shows, like anything that comes through. I don't think they do any touring like at all so far, but yeah, they're on a bunch of big shows that come through. So Wind Chimes, they're kind of like blackened deathcore-esque. And Bacchusura is another big one that we've played with them a bunch of times. Anytime we play in Pittsburgh, they're a huge staple to the scene. They have a huge crowd that comes out anytime they're around, so it's always a good time for those guys. And going a little bit more hardcore, I'd say Place Blame. It's like another. They get out there. I know they were just out in like Cleveland area. So I know they do some touring. They play Philly and whatnot, but
I used to play this place with John from Bearing Point when we were in the band Forsaken. We played a spot called Croc Rock in Allentown.
Croc Rock. All right.
Yeah, the Croc
I
Rock.
don't think it exists anymore, but that was a long time ago. I mean, we played 2010-ish. So
Damn, yeah.
Yeah, it was a while ago. What made you move to Pittsburgh from upstate New York?
So I literally like 2 days after I graduated from high school, I moved to Pittsburgh just to get away from the nothingness of upstate New York. So I grew up going to like shows at skate parks, and Buffalo was like the closest to where I lived to go to shows at. So that was like a 2-hour drive. So we didn't really have like a local scene per se. Like Buffalo and Rochester was our local scene, and it was 1.5 to 2 hours away. Yeah. So
Every Time I Die.
yeah.
That's my favorite band in the world. So like that's something I don't think I've ever said that on the show, but it's my favorite band in the world. Love Better Lovers, great band. Buffalo is a crazy scene, dude. It's
hardcore scene. Yeah. It's the straight edge scene. Yeah. There's so much going on up there.
Yeah, colorful people up in Buffalo.
Absolutely.
You gotta be to deal with that fucking frigid cold.
Oh yeah, dude.
That was one of the number one reasons I wanted to get away from that area. Other than there just being no opportunities up there, was the weather.
Yeah,
I could not handle the. Even last year, my dad said they got 6 feet of snow like in my little town, and it's like that's too much. Tunneling to your vehicles,
Jesus
like no.
Christ. Yeah, people down here, they just don't understand, especially just from living in Connecticut. It's like, 5 inches of snow on the ground? Nah, I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Well, I tell people here, I've worked at a couple places out here over the course of 10 years, and a lot of the people that are here, no shade to Southern Californians. If you're listening, no bullshit. But if you're from an area where it snows, if you flip your car into a ravine or slam into a guardrail, your boss is probably going to ask you, when are you going to be here?
Yep.
Yeah,
and
100%.
That's kind of the way that works in that area, or all those areas. It doesn't matter if you're in New England or Minnesota. I'm sure it's the same thing. Like, oh, you flipped your car over. Are you good? Can you talk? Okay, good. Be here.
So you're digging it out and you're coming still, right?
Yeah.
All right. Deal with it. Let me know when you're coming back to work.
That was the biggest thing for me when I moved out here. Was I'd gone through, some stuff with family. Like my dad passed away, and then I was just like, I inherited a house, and he had 2 snow throwers. So I was like, all right, I'm good. Like, and Dan, you've never been to my dad's house, but some people that know have been to my dad's house. It's like you go from the bottom to the top at like a 60-degree angle, like all the way up. Yeah, you have to get out. Up. So if you got snow, you're fucked. And we had a snowstorm. It was in February of 2013, and we got like 4 feet overnight. And that was it for me, dude. One of my friends had moved to Southern California, and he's like, "Oh, it would be really cool if you moved out." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll come out once I can dig myself the fuck out of this hellscape." And I finally got out there and met up with him. And I was like, after like 2 days, I was like, I'm out. Like, I'm done after that.
No
Both
way.
snow throwers kicked the bucket during that. The shovels snapped in half. Me and my brother were trying to shovel ourselves out of this house, and we were like, we have no food. Like, we're
Yeah.
dealing with like this traumatic event, like at our family event, and then on top of it is a snowstorm. We were like, fuck this, we're out of here. So yeah, I get it. You know, like when you're dealing with that type of weather, you're like, I got to get out of here. And then on top of it, like,
Exactly.
I've got horror stories, and I'm sure you do too. I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
having a van and a trailer,
Same.
do you guys have
Same.
any? Yeah, do you, Dan? Definitely you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have had an
Wait.
experience. Have you had any crazy experiences? Because like one of my worst experiences is actually having to push like a van and a trailer when the transmission dropped.
Oh my
Like,
God. Nope.
Jesus Christ.
Luckily, we've never had anything serious like that happen in the winter.
Good.
Yeah, we've never
100%. Yeah, good.
totally knock on wood, but we've never had like any serious accidents or any slips or anything. So like, we'll like to keep that rolling strong.
And we will make sure that stays rolling strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Keep that streak as long as you can.
Exactly. We've definitely gotten stuck a handful of times, like in muddy situations. Like just there's so much rain all the time, and so we've had a van. We used to rent sprinters, and we had a sprinter towed from this guy. This AAA dude deserves a reward for his maneuvering of this truck through this like tiny alleyway, and then running this cable all the way down the alleyway to hook onto the sprinter to tow us out of the back of this backyard that we were stuck in was unreal. I thought when this guy showed up, he's gonna be like, yeah, no way. And he like whipped in this like tiny little alleyway between a house and a telephone pole, like nothing happened, and absolutely unreal. But that was probably our biggest getting stuck. We've been, definitely the sleeping in the van in the cold sucks. Yes. That is that. Everybody cuddles and snuggles up as close as you can get.
Not to butt, baby. Not to butt.
That's right.
That's absolutely right. Hey, body warmth counts.
Yep. So we were, like I said, when we were in the sprinters, it was a little bit more difficult to do that because everybody was a little bit more spread out. But last year we bought our own van, so now we're rocking it's a GMC conversion van.
Hell yeah!
So we have a nice little queen size bed in the back when we fold it down. That 3 people sleeps comfortably. We've had 4 in there, and everybody just sardined. But it is definitely an upgrade from having to rent vans. We got a nice DVD player and little TV in there, and got a nice rolling movie theater.
Nice.
I'm having memories of Ark's first van. We had 2. The first one we had our drummer had a Ford Econoline, and it had
one of those.
It had but it was like the touring edition, so it had a TV in there. So we were playing like fucking PS3 on the road. We were watching movies. We were, it was like the lap of luxury for our
was
first
it
tour.
Was it an Econoline 150?
Yeah.
Dude, what color was it?
Blue.
Yes. The same one that we used.
That was Mike Nath's parents' van for a long time.
We had a CR television and a like DVD player in it, and it was an electronic bed that would
exactly and lays down.
And
I think ours is a 1500.
I've mentioned this on the show before, but we totaled that fucking van in a accident in a snowstorm in Texas.
Oh no!
Yeah, of all places. We were driving through. We had played a show in Lubbock the night before. We were trying to go to a gig in Oklahoma City, and it did not go well.
Texas is too big.
Too big.
Oh, dude,
too big.
Those drives are fucking crazy. But the one thing I will say is, as a pain in the ass as those drives can be, and like dealing with like sandstorms sometimes and shit. Nighttime is both beautiful but fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially those like long stretches where there's absolutely nothing for like 30 to 40 miles, like
Oh, it's
not
more
even
than
a
that.
single light.
Hundreds.
All right,
Hundreds of
Try
miles, yeah.
Those must
hundreds.
have been the ones that I slept through, but
Yeah, dude. Like going through once you get past like Dallas and everything, and you get to like mid Texas, you're fucked.
okay, so we went down the East Coast for the most part.
Yeah,
I
no,
guess.
that's heavily populated. Like when you're going down the
Yeah.
peninsula and everything. Yeah.
We went all the
No.
way down to McAllen, but that was
Yeah. No, that's not bad. As soon as you get to the middle of the state, it is
absolutely nothing.
barren wasteland from like wet, like all the way till you get like probably 300-400 miles west, and then like down to El Paso, San Antonio.
Damn.
Oh, El Paso, yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah,
dude, there is not a human being once you leave like Amarillo to Albuquerque and then Albuquerque to like Phoenix.
Because we would play gigs out in like Fort Worth, Dallas area, and then like you either bang down south or you're hiking it out west.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest struggle with planning my brother's trip when we're moving. We're
where
like,
are you stopping?
Yeah, where are we stopping? Because
exactly, Texas is a long ride.
Yeah, and we're only staying one place in Texas, so we're moving through.
Plan it well.
Yeah, our longest drive is 666 miles. So like, hell yeah, hell Satan.
Foreboding.
Yeah,
hell Satan.
Yeah. So
this ride's gonna be metal, motherfucker.
This ride's gonna
Buckle
be
in.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's the longest ride. You know, it's not that big of a
That's
deal,
not too bad then.
Nah,
yeah, especially if you're used to like driving like this, then it's like
Nah.
I've never done Texas with Casketmaker, not yet anyway. But
You'll get there, man. Good
Yeah,
shows
you'll-
down there. Good shows down there. Good people.
that will be soon to come.
We hope. I hope you get out here. I'm fucking pumped because you guys slam super hard.
Thanks,
So
dude.
yeah, dude. Like when John told me, he was like, "Yo, I'm playing with this band." I was like, "All right." I take whatever John says, you know, respectfully, because he's a very close friend and a compatriot of my music career. But and I'm fucking pumped that Burying Point is just murdering it right now. And
so good,
there's so many bands, but you guys, Rip, you're on my radar and 100% listening to it.
Hell yeah.
You guys play out east. If I'm there, I'm fucking there. You guys,
nice.
You guys absolutely rip.
Sure.
What I want to know, how'd the band start?
Oh, so this really was a project to step back from being in like an intensive music career. Honestly, that was like the initial part of it. I was in a band from Albany, New York called Somewhere to Call Home, and they were trying to like step up and start touring more. And my daughter was about to be born at that point, so I was really not ready for all that. So I only did one tour with them, one song with them, but all awesome guys. I still stay in touch with them, but so I didn't want to like totally step away from music. So there was a couple guys from Ohio and West Virginia area that hit me up and asked if I would be interested in just kind of getting together on the side and just doing some vocals to kind of hang out, shoot the shit, and make some heavy music. And so it was really just like a side gig. Like we really had no intention on it, like doing anything crazy. But so right after I joined, there was two other guys that were like getting it going. And Hanging was like, that's the first song that we wrote. And like the basis of that song had been started already. And so then there was a drummer from Ohio, guitarist from Ohio, and a guitarist from West Virginia. And we all ended up getting together. Junior from West Virginia is the only one that is still in the band currently from that group, just him and I. But before Hanging even came out, we had finally we started to like solidify a little bit more of a actual lineup. And then, yeah, so we ended up getting a couple singles out with just that initial lineup anyway. And yeah, it was really just more of just like there was demand for us to start playing shows out after we released Hanging, and then we came out with Backstabber, and the demand just kept growing for us to play shows, and like us to drive to like the other side of Pennsylvania even is like doesn't really make sense for us to just do on like a one-off all the time, or like we kept getting offers for Virginia and all over the place, and like so it just like the demand of it, we ended up playing shows, and it ended up growing when we had no intention on that being the case. It was really just to be for fun and hang out, but has definitely evolved into much further.
That's the best.
Yeah.
It's always nice when you're like little project that you're just trying to get your feet wet again, and it happens to take off, and when the demand comes like naturally, there's nothing better, honestly.
Right.
Especially in like the times we live in, because like we all know this genre and a lot of genres of music are very oversaturated, but
No
like
doubt.
you know, so to stand out, like seriously, like you guys are really fucking heavy.
Thanks, man.
I actually
Really
had a
fucking
little
heavy,
question.
dude. Like,
Yeah. Like I actually had a question of my own that I had for you. So
Yeah.
I've been listening to your song Disease and Disorder a ton.
Yeah.
And I read your little YouTube blurb, like kind of about like what the song was about, what inspired it and everything. Like I don't know, man, like we live in a very different time, like especially from when Dave and I were touring and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like how do like in some ways like the drama from the scene back in the day, it's still there, but it's like changed. I almost feel like it's become more like in some ways like menacing, kind of like how you talked about in the song where there's just like misinformation, but I almost feel like
Right. Yep.
people are turning a blind eye to something that's very obviously there. So like I don't
Right.
know,
Yeah.
like what are your thoughts on that, and maybe elaborate a little more.
So this song was so I guess just touch back on like the development of the band. After we had separated with our initial lead guitarist and original drummer, we had brought in a new drummer, and then later on down we played as a 4-piece for a while, and then we so Brad, our lead guitarist, he's kind of always been around the band. He's always really been in the shadows, like in the background, kind of helping with things. And he went on tour with us and ran merch, and so he was kind of always there. But he stepped in and has filled the lead guitar position. So this was like the first song that he wrote most of instrumentally, and this was a collaboration between him and I lyrically. So he honestly came up with the whole lyrical concept for it. I definitely added like a couple little lines and stuff to make it a little more like flowy for me. But yeah, this song was the first one of like really introducing like his writing style. So it was definitely, it feels a little different for us to play, but yeah, other than that, like touching on the actual subject of the song, yeah, I don't know. I think it was really mostly about like you said, like people turning a blind eye to just like, I don't know, like things that are right in front of you, like trying to like relate it to a line in the song, but like about the government taking your paychecks and shit. Like that's like a super basic one. Like you pay taxes and like they're still taking your money regardless. And then like in America, like we live in like a shitty situation. Like most of Americans like live in like not great situations. Like they struggle and work their day in, day out. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's like a lot of painted right in front of you, and everybody just definitely neglects, and we just accept it because that's like the political norm. Like that's what's expected of you, so that's what you do. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like that one was like we were trying to stay away from being a political band. That was like
Sure.
something that kept coming up. Like there's like political influences. I mean, there's so many political
It's
influences
so hard
going on.
not to.
It's a hard line to toe. You know, not everybody is trying to go out and be like Rage Against the Machine.
Exactly.
But there's like, just as like normal people seeing how things are being ran and how complacent people are when there's absolute chaos going on is really infuriating.
Right. And that's really where we were trying to come from with that. Like, we don't want to like, we're not trying to say like we know better or like, not trying to like influence anybody's ideas really, but really just like paint the picture like, yo, this shit's right in front of you. And it's
like, this is fucking weird.
Dude,
this is fucking weird.
It's weird. I mean, like, yeah, resonating with that song. I mean, it's weird. Like here in California, you could be sitting at a Michelin star restaurant and somebody's taking a dump outside.
Right.
You know,
like what the fuck?
Yeah, and you just walk by them, or you walk over a homeless person.
Yeah.
Like
we walk around them.
Yeah, it's just we're dealing with some crazy shit. A quick question that I didn't have planned off of this topic. What was it like? Because you guys started in what, 2018-ish? Like when you really like established a band. How was that? Because I couldn't even imagine of like establishing something that you're so
right before
about.
COVID.
Yeah, right before that. We haven't had like a real conversation with anybody about like, dude, what's it like? Because a lot of the people that I know have we're not even involved in music during the time. So
so we were on tour with Betrayer and One Less Life. I want to say they're both Virginia bands. Betrayer is now most the Archaic Epidemic. I don't know if you're familiar with them at all. If you're not, they slam. They're wild. Ian, their vocalist, is absolutely monster. But yeah, we were on tour with Betrayer and One Less Life, and we were over halfway through everything, and we were in Indiana, I want to say, and we started to get like word of like states closing borders, and like that was like a huge concern because everybody's like, well, I can't get stuck in another state.
Oh shit.
So we played another date, and so it was Fort Wayne, Indiana was one of the last dates, so we got the whole tour of the Sweetwater Factory and everything, which was pretty awesome.
Hell yeah. I want to go there. I want to go there so bad.
Got to do the slide.
Fuck yeah.
So we played there, and then we played Osgood, Indiana was the following day, and that was the last show we played. We played with Second Death, and then the tour package, and there was like a couple openers. It was a tattoo shop that we played, and
it's wild.
Our show the following day was supposed to be the Vortex in Columbus, Ohio, if I'm correct, somewhere Ohio. I remember it was called the Vortex though, and then that one got canceled, and then we had a following date after that, so there was only 2 dates left, and the one canceled. So we were like, the whole tour package was like, do we just like take the day off, not knowing what's going to happen in the next 24 hours? We might get stuck here. Do we just drive out there and play that next show? We don't know if anybody's going to even come because the world's about to fall apart. And so group decision, everybody ended up, we said that was just going to be the end of the tour. We called it a couple days early, everybody went back home. Yeah, so we stopped at like a Steak and Shake on our way home, and had this like real moment of like everybody didn't know what was gonna happen. Like we don't know when we're gonna see each other again. Everybody's gonna go. I mean, we're all kind of spread out, so like it's not like we can just get together on a whim. But yeah, we're like we don't know, like, is it safe to even go home to our families? Like, did we like pick something up while we're out here? Like, yeah, so it was like a whole bunch of like we don't know what the future holds at all, and we're like coming home from a tour where normally that's like a high point, like feeling real good and confident about just playing a bunch of shows and everything. And yeah, so it was like we didn't do much of anything after that there for a long time because everybody was just like in shock, I think.
Damn, you guys were on the road for that. Fuck.
Yeah, man, we were actually in Massachusetts.
Oh
at,
shit.
we were in Agawam.
Oh, okay.
All
I
right.
played a bunch of church shows up there back in the day. Well, the shows happened to be at a church there, but they used to do hardcore shows. So
Yeah,
old bands used to play up there all the time.
we used to have Jesus Fest in Connecticut. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So it was like Agawam, and then we made our way down and over to Indiana, was like as far west as we went. So that was like when we started coming back. But yeah, when we hit Agawam was like when shit started to get real. Like we started to hear like borders closing, and Massachusetts, I think, was one of the first ones to close their borders, and we had just got out of Massachusetts.
Yeah, it
Holy
was that
shit.
in California, dude. I was stuck in Arizona. We were visiting my girlfriend's friend outside of Phoenix, and that whole shit popped off, and we were supposed to be there for like 2 extra days. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I hear California's closing their borders. I am not getting stuck in fucking Arizona.
Right.
Like, I was like, there's no way, man. So we jetted back to California the next day. Boom, everything shut down.
I was gonna say Newsom was quick with that one.
Yeah, like 2 days later, my job, I didn't work for like 120 days or something like that. It was just fucking crazy, man. I couldn't
was at
imagine being a
Starbucks.
band. So like that's why I asked, because I was just like, dude, you guys are on the road. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's
it was
so
definitely
stressful. I'm so
definitely
sorry.
rough.
I'm so sorry.
That had to have been so fucking stressful. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah,
Like,
I've
I've been in van accidents. Like I've
Yeah,
seen
I've been in like
people's
broken
shit get
axles
broken
and
into, Yeah, I've been in situations where it's just like I've been stuck on the West Coast before because shows dropped, but I couldn't
Right,
imagine
yeah.
just being like, oh, I could potentially be fucking stuck here.
yeah.
stuck in this state for like who knows how long.
Yeah,
with $30,000 worth of gear in a fucking trailer
Right.
too.
Just
And
It's
like,
fill
what
it.
do you do? And
There's
a
that.
U-Haul trailer on top of that that's just
Oh,
gonna keep
God.
racking up money.
yeah.
Oh,
That is the one thing we don't own our own trailer, just because
Sure.
the U-Haul trailers are so cheap.
They are.
Even if we're out on the road for 15 days, we end up spending like $150. So it's like
That's
it's
awesome.
stupid to even want to buy that. Like,
yeah. I wish we did that. I mean, we when I was in Forsaken, we had 2 different trailers. One I got because I worked at Lowe's, so I got like half off. So
yeah.
I got a nice like carry-on 5x8, and I was like, this is perfect. First night we used it, got rear-ended. Whole thing.
No shit.
Yeah, it was crazy. We were in town too, so it wasn't even like
A local
far away.
show, even
Yeah,
that.
it was a local show.
Yeah,
We were dropping one of our friends off who's now since passed, but like we all got thrown over. My bass shit was right in the back.
Took off. Oh man.
And then we ended up getting a trailer. We bought a horse trailer. Yo,
dude, I've heard they're awesome though. They're like sound. That's like
they're rugged,
a sturdy trailer.
Yeah, but the lighting and electrical didn't work, and John's a mechanic, so like he was fiddling with it for a couple days, and then we were just like, fuck it, let's sell it. So we sold it to some like mafia dudes like from some other town, and they came and they were like, oh, this is a real trailer, and we're like, oh yeah, it's for horses, like, you get it. We got dicked over on that
For
purchase.
Horses,
For horses.
unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't gonna work. And and then we ended up trading our 5x8 for a what's an 8x10 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that thing lasted the band a couple of years, but what a pain in the fucking ass to have a van, a trailer. If any band
is.
that can afford bus touring and not have to worry about it, God bless them, because they,
Yeah.
you know, it's van and trailer touring. Not only have I had
Yeah.
experiences where the guard over the wheel and blows the tire out because you hit something, and on top of it, taking pisses on the radiator of a shitty van, gas leaks, like all that other shit in van touring. It's you're better off just renting, because if the
Yeah.
trailer gets fucked up, it's not your trailer.
There's way more options now.
Exactly.
There's way
Yeah.
more options now than we ever had
Oh,
when we were
yeah,
on the
dude.
road, honestly.
Yeah. We are definitely luxurious.
Like green vans alone is totally worth
They're
it.
so expensive though.
Oh, they were
We
like
looked
the OG.
into it.
They're like the OGs.
They are the
though.
OG. Yeah, they are the OGs.
But like, I hear their customer service is like amazing.
Yeah, I have heard the same thing as well. Not our level yet, but maybe down the road.
Yeah. we were almost there. We were close, but then poof.
Gone.
Poof.
So, my experience in Connecticut last time, when I played with John, we found, as per usual, we start heading in the direction. So, all right, touring New England, beautiful. The longest drive we had was an hour and 45 minutes.
Yep.
Like, we were 30 minutes in between venues, 40 minutes, an hour. I was like, this is amazing. But we found after we played Connecticut, we were playing Rhode Island next in Providence, and we started heading in that direction, found the closest Planet Fitness. And Brad and I are usually the night drivers. Everybody else scares the living shit out of me when they drive in the middle of the night.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Yeah. We all have those members.
Yep.
Yeah. Never forget Steve reaching for, after hitting a Buc-ee's. He was, I don't know if you know what buck nuts are, but they're like they're almost like beaver nuggets. We were calling them buck nuts, but he's like I was sleeping in the seat behind him, and I look up and I see him reaching for them, like he's trying to grab another handful, but his eyes are closed and all 6 wheels are on the other side of the white line.
No.
We lucked out that we were on that kind of highway, because we
Jesus.
were full in the median. And he's like, I was still chewing the last bite. I don't even know how that happened.
Jesus Christ. Just pull over and let me drive.
Exactly.
Dude, I would red eye fucking drives because I didn't trust half of the guys or most of the guys in my band. I was like, nah, dude, I'll do 8 to 10. It's fine. I'll get
Brad
there.
Brad and I do the night drives because everybody else scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Connecticut, we hit the nearest Planet Fitness like always. That's like the go-to. Stop and camp at a Planet Fitness. So that was the big change after COVID, was going from camping in Walmart parking lots to camping in Planet Fitness parking lots. Walmarts kick you out everywhere you go.
Wow.
They do. We were
end of times.
Black door. We were sleeping, and this goddamn security guard rolled up and just laid on his horn.
Oh,
like
God.
right next to the van, everybody sleeping. Like, he's like, you guys, well, we were in Brooklyn, I guess, but he's like, yeah, you guys can't sleep here. He's like, well, we're just waiting for the store to open in an hour. He's like, yeah, you gotta leave. So,
damn.
We learned our lesson, and now it's just Planet Fitness, because you can go in 24 hours, get a massage whenever you want, a shower whenever you want, all that good stuff.
Damn, rock star treatment, dude.
Yeah, right?
Do what you want without the lunk alarm.
Yeah, without the lunk alarm.
You just need that black card.
Yeah, exactly. And not even everybody in the band has to have it, because you can get a
guest pass, right?
Guest pass, yeah.
There you go.
That's the way to do it.
So went in and showered. Brad and I usually showered at night since we were driving. Went in and showered, came back, and there's nowhere to sleep. So I was like, yo, that U-Haul trailer looks pretty nice, and it's nice out. I could probably sprawl out on top of that. And Brad's like, you won't do it. So I sure as shit threw all my stuff up there, and I camped out under the stars in Connecticut in the Planet Fitness parking lot on top of the U-Haul trailer.
That's funny.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful till I woke up and it was 80 degrees,
Yep.
just like roasting me on the roof.
Yep.
I got some good sleep until that, but
That's about right.
that was my fun story of the last tour.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, man, well, it's like a pivotal like tour story, or maybe like your favorite memory since like you started the band, and like I don't know, that moment when you like, whether it was you were playing a show or you got a reaction out of the crowd and you were just like, fuck, I'm so happy we're doing this.
Yeah. So I guess there's been a couple different points. So we just opened for Body Snatcher when they were rolling around on that huge. They were out with like Paleface and Angel Maker,
Fuck yeah.
and yeah, it was an unreal tour. But we got to open that tour, and so we played to like 650, 700 people that day, and that was like
Wow.
and like having like it was a local show, but like I never feel like we have a huge local draw. I just, since so many of our members are from scattered around the area, like we play Erie and we have a better draw than when we played Pittsburgh sometimes, and it's just
Sure, it's like that sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, playing Preserving Underground. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Preserving Underground at all.
Mm-mm.
It's like a huge venue in Pittsburgh, but so this vocalist Face Rack owns this place. It's like a record shop, merch resale, massive venue that's in a church. I mean, yeah, we were just talking about church shows, but he's got 3 stages in this thing. So there's
Holy
a DIY room that caps out at 80 people. The underground room that caps on at like 350, and then they just made the Sanctuary, which caps on at like 650.
Nice.
So we got so we got
That's
to play
awesome.
the very first show on the Sanctuary stage, and the very first show was sold out, and we got to open it. So we got to play the very first show on that stage to a sold out crowd. And that was like one of the moments where I was like, this is awesome. Like, and yeah, like I always ask like, who's heard of us before? And like hearing the whole crowd erupt was like, yeah. As a local crowd, that's one thing, but it was still the biggest thing we've played to. And like, yeah, I don't know, just hearing that many people who have heard of us is like unreal.
That makes me super fucking happy to hear.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
are really fucking
Definitely,
good,
dude.
so I'm glad to hear it.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. Cleveland, I guess there's like anytime we play Cleveland also is like another one that like we get like these just like amazing reactions out of. I don't know, even like the sound guys at the Foundry like have learned parts of our set, so like they'll start like running lights during parts of our set because they like know when the breakdowns and stuff come up. So like I don't know, that's like another thing. I'm like, oh, people like actually like sit there and listen to it and like analyze it, like I don't know, hear what I have to say, and it's not just like, oh, you're another like yelly band, lots of shreds and blast beats, but
yeah.
There's message behind most of it, and that's like
Ohio are definitely good people.
You got Chimera that came out of Cleveland, man. Like,
yeah,
dude, like you got people that have an actual scene out there.
Yeah.
You know, so you guys coming through, not too far away. I mean, you're realistically right down the street. So
yeah, Cleveland is an hour and a half from us.
Yeah, it's a hop, skip, and a jump, right?
Exactly. We kind of say like Pittsburgh's our home scene. Erie's our second home scene since our drummer's from Erie and our bassist like half lives in Erie. So that's like our second home scene. And then Ohio, our one guitarist lives in Cincinnati. So Ohio's kind of like a big ballpark for us.
Nice. So you guys all don't live next to each other?
We do not. No.
That's such an interesting dynamic. I mean, a lot of bands work like that.
Yeah,
especially really established bands. A lot of guys, like, they don't
right.
live anywhere near each other. How does that dynamic work, man? Like, how do you guys get things done? How do you guys practice? Do you guys do stuff like live with like recordings and sending files over? Or
A lot of internet. Yeah, so it is. We do have some. We try to make sure we drill at home that they're rehearsals, they're not practices. So everybody needs to come to the rehearsal practiced and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of it is all individual. Like you've got to be on your own stuff, sending files back and forth. Anything we've ever done, we've always self-produced. We record, edit, do all that stuff, do all the production, except for we send it out to be mixed and mastered. So that all pretty much hasn't changed. We still just keep doing all that digitally. We just send files back and forth. Everybody has capability of recording their own stuff. So Jake, being the drummer, he's the only one who doesn't like fully record his own stuff, but he's on top of like writing MIDI stuff. We've only done like live drum playthroughs, so we haven't had to worry about like actually recording live drums too much yet. But
Fair.
yeah, other than that, yeah, it's all bouncing files back and forth. Junior only moved down to Cincinnati this year, so that's a new thing that we're still trying to figure out how to work with. But the rest of us are pretty much like a 2-hour radius. I'm the only one that like lives in Pittsburgh. Our bassist Steve, his parents live on the other side of Pittsburgh, so he like half resides there and then half lives in Erie with his girlfriend. So that's why it's like half Erie, half Pittsburgh. But
Sure.
yeah, and then Brad lives out in Wheeling, which is only like an hour. It's like an hour and 10 minutes from where I live at. So mostly it's an hour to 2 ballpark.
that's not
for
bad.
Junior.
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. That's
Junior being in Cincinnati is a new feat that we've yet to figure out, but that's a 3-hour drive and it's a little much.
Yeah.
So we haven't figured out how to practice with him out there yet, but he still like is able to contribute and write and do everything he normally does. So he's also an Inferius, so he's got his hands full with that.
Busy boy.
Sure.
Yeah. He's hitting the road with like salt wound, I think, for 2 weeks.
Sick.
Yeah. He's actually doing California. Now that I'm saying it out loud.
Shit.
I can't remember where actually he's going, but
I'll check it out. I'll look him up and see where in California, and if they are within an hour, which takes 3 hours for me, we'll figure it out. Maybe we can link up or something like that.
Yeah, all the Inferius guys are cool. They're a Dayton, Ohio band.
Nice. All right, man. Well, seriously, it's been awesome, like chatting with you, just hearing about the band, like how you came up, everything. So, like, the floor is yours at this point. So, whatever music, if you got any shows coming up, anything, now's your time to plug.
Yeah. So like I said before, we have a song coming out this Friday, which is going to be August 18th. This one's kind of like I was saying before, it's a track that Brad and I mostly wrote. This one we kind of branched out with experimentally a little bit. It's definitely a little more melodic. It's a little more emotion to it versus like the raw, I guess like heavy breakdown stuff we had before. So like, especially the lyrical content, there was a lot put into this song that comes out. And then other than show wise, we don't like super have anything big coming up. Immediately after, so the song's called Collective Suffering that we're coming out with on the 18th, but like right after that comes out, we have a couple more announcements that we're going to be sliding through. There's a an announcement, and then there is a tour announcement. So we're going to be hitting a bunch of new spots that we have never hit as Casketmaker. Bunch of people asking us to come into those areas, so it's like going to be super cool to actually finally hit those areas. And then I guess the only other band I would have to give a name drop for would be the guys in Knights of Malice, just to kind of lead into the tour announcement coming up. But yeah, I think that's about all I've got for you guys.
Beautiful, man. Dude, we've been pumped since we found out we were going to chat with you. So we're really, really stoked that you were able to shoot some shit with us and kick it for a little bit and talk to us about the scene over there. Because Dan and I really, I mean, we haven't really, you know, not that we haven't paid attention. We're just not from there. So like, it's
California and Connecticut are very different.
Yeah. And it's all different scenes. So it's been rad having you on, and hopefully we can have you on again sometime in the future with some new updates and stuff like that.
So we'll bring some of the other guys next time.
Yeah,
for
sure, dude. But yeah, dude, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hell yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you so much.
Thanks again for tuning in for another episode of Tales from the Soundcheck podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Tales from the Soundcheck podcast, and listen on Spotify, where you can follow and rate the show.
Don't forget to hit that little bell and subscribe to our YouTube channel for full episodes and future exclusive clips.
If you have any comments, want to chat with us on the show, or have your band featured, please DM us or email us at talesfromthesoundcheckpodcast@gmail.com.